Hello and welcome back to the channel. What we've got here to do today is replace this first of all. So this is our new field that we've taken on, and the water trough that's here is a bit tired, as you can see from here. It's been repaired, but also we put this new fence in here. We did this last weekend, and we had to put or move the fence further out so that we could take that in a straight line without it getting caught on that tree. But what that means now is that you've got this gap behind the water trough. So what we'll have to do is disconnect this and scrap that, and then we'll have to dig a hole and try bring that pipe back to get it with the fence line. But in another field that we've taken on, there is a really nice old water trough, but we're not going to graze that field, so it's a bit of a waste having the water trough there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go get that water trough and then put it in there. So there we go, that's the water trough that I was on about. So we've got our ball float, and then we've also got the tools to fit it, some tape, and then that to cut the blue pipe because we need to move it back. So we've also got our digging tools as well so that we can move that back. And depending on the pipe, then we might put this tap in as well, because the water at the minute goes to the shed. So if we can switch it off individually for the trough. So yeah, but it just depends on what size the pipe actually is. Hopefully that is everything that we need, but usually there's always one thing that we've got to come back for. So it was really blue sky earlier, but it's come overcast now, and it is forecasted to have a bit of rain today, so hopefully we can get the grasses growing, and then that silage field down there can bulk up. And we were also going to put some metal pegs along that fence just so that they can't push it into the fence. Not that they would, because such a big trough, I could nearly lay down in it and have a bath in it if I wanted to. So what we've done so far is we've disconnected that trough, so that trough can now go away, be scrapped, get rid of it. And then we've tightened this up. There we go. Could also do with a new windscreen wiper in here. It's not amazing. Maybe a little purchase to make. So we came to the conclusion that that brickwork's just going to be in the way. So yeah, just take it out with the forklift. We got the bucket and there's some chalk there, so we'll just chuck some of that in there to level it off a bit. Okay, so we've had a bit of change of plans, because what started off with what I thought would be quite an easy job is a lot easier said than done. So that pipe basically just looked like it was going straight down quite deep and then turning. So we thought, instead of trying to move that pipe, we'll put an extension on and have the pipe around here, so that because it's a longer trough, it's then not fouling with the tree. But then obviously, because they could still get behind the water trough, instead of putting the pegs in, like I said earlier, we'll probably put a post here with a bit of rail going across so that they can't get behind, just because if they do get behind, then, well, if you've got cattle, you know what they're like. They'll just try and do whatever you don't want them to do. So that's the plan. And then we've also put these road planings down here, because where we took out the brickwork, we then had to fill it in. And if you have chalk there is chalk underneath that, but if you have chalk there, then it can rust out the water tray a lot faster. So we thought we'll put chalk down so we've got a harder floor, and then put that on top just so that it doesn't rust out. But it's a good job. Just now need to get on with it. So instead of putting a join in, we'll put the tap in, and then we can join the pipe through the tap. So it's not what we planned, but it is hopefully working out okay. So there we go. The trough is in situ, nice and level, and then push some gravel under there so that it's sat nice and firmly, and then sort of graded it a bit with the shovel so it's nice and level. And if you couldn't tell, when we went back, I also decided to get some coat on and the overalls, because some muppet decided to look at the weather forecast this morning, see that it was raining, and still decide to wear shorts and t-shirt. That was me, if you didn't know. But yeah, so now we can get on with the plumbing. Yeah, close up. So what's that bit for?
So that tapered.
Yeah.
So that sits in there, and obviously, if you can see in there, as the pipe comes through, where it's tapered, it then grips.
Yeah.
If you open this up, you can see it's got a little teeth mark in there, and that grips on the pipe. You see where it's on the old bit of pipe. You can see where it's made some indents there.
Yeah.
Little cuts and that, so the pipe grips.
And then that stops it from running back down the...
Yeah, that basically grips the pipe into the thing. Right, Ryan, we have lift off.
That should be it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Moment of truth. So what we'll do, we'll leave it now. It seems to all be working, but yeah, that'll take quite a while to fill up because it's quite a big trough. So we'll come back tomorrow morning and check that. Hopefully everything should be fine with it. Okay, so it's now the following day, and we don't have a flood here, so that's the main goal. Oh, good start to the day. And there aren't any leaks that I can feel around there, so I think the plumbing is all right. So now we'll just put some posts in to keep it there, but it's a pretty solid trough anyway, so it's not really going to go anywhere. There's quite a lot of water in there holding it down.
Gosh, it's a swimming pool, isn't it?
So we have the rails cut to the length we want it, and we thought if we put the screws in here first where we want them, and then we'll be able to put that post in where we want it. But it's roughly, that post roughly wants to be where it is, but we just thought it'd be more accurate like this. So that's this job completed. Took a little bit longer than we hoped for, as it's now the next day, but I think it was a lot better than we had planned it to be. That is the final job. And then we also cut the top of these off because otherwise the cat will get rubbing on it quite a lot and it might weaken the rail a bit, and then as it's connected to the fence, it could affect the fence a little bit too. But yeah, so that's why we did that. So hopefully that'll all work. All the plumbing will stay perfect, and that'll be job complete. Okay, so now that we've got that job done, we can now get onto this job, which will be taking down this fencing along here, and then we're gonna stack it up in a neat pile and then take it away with the forklift. So that is the fence down. I found a pallet, so I put it all on a pallet so that we can then take the pallet with the forklift. Makes life a lot easier. And then, well, I've still got a little bit of scrap to put on top of that. And then during the summer in here, what we plan to do is take all of these bars down and the boards at the bottom and replace it with crash barrier and weld them to the stanchions. So it's much stronger. And also we want to try get that up a bit because their necks were rubbing a bit. And we did muck out the front where they eat, but it still wants to be a tiny bit higher. And you can't really move them because they're all just, yeah. I mean, look at the state of them. You're not going to be able to move them. They're pretty old. So we'll have to cut them off. But yeah, so that is it for today's video. Some new improvements on the farm. It's good to see. But until next time, goodbye.